Errors.
Yeah.
So, a couple things you want to talk about today. With the multi-gig switches, so the 24 and 48 port, they're now available.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of information on those, so what did you want to talk about with the multi-gigs?
A couple things we were looking at this week. Yeah, so 24 port, 48 port multi-gig switches are available along with all the other switches, the other 24 port gigabit, 48 port gigabit.
Yeah.
With these new switches, it comes, there's multiple things. So, like, when they're cloud managed, all the features apply to all switches, regardless if they're multi-gig or single gig or, whatever.
Yeah.
If they're non-PoE or PoE, but, like, the interface is the same. So, like, the diagnostic tools, you can continue to use the diagnostic tools in all these cloud switches. And, we were just talking about the diagnostic tools and, like, what you can do with diagnostic tools, which is pretty neat that you can, from the switch, you can trace route or ping, and you can trace, obviously you can trace route from any direction, ping from any direction. You can, ping towards, like, the end user or out to the gateway just to, troubleshoot and things like that, and out to the internet. But you can also, we talked about this last week and you showed it, the packet capturing. You can do the packet capturing. Yep. You have something called client list, which is actually MAC address or the MAC table.
Yeah.
And then you also have ARP table, and we were just talking about the ARP table, but that's also available in the cloud. But all this, and then I think internet connectivity is on there as well. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. There's a speed test in there, actually.
I think that's on APs.
Okay, on the APs. Gotcha.
It might be just on the APs, not on the switches.
Okay.
Regardless, it gives the customer a lot of ability to, like, remote view the network, troubleshoot the network.
Yeah, you guys added so many tools in there.
Yeah, so it gives you a lot of capabilities in that way. And the thing that we were just talking about is, like, if you're sitting local to the switch, say I'm sitting within the LAN network, and I'm still managing it through the cloud, I can just simply copy the IP address, put it in a browser, and log into the interface of the switch, the local interface, which is really, really nice, because then you have full capabilities within the local interface. But the one thing they just added, we just added, I should say, is the search tool, which is really, really nice, because there's a lot of I guess you'd call it menus.
Yeah, sub-menus.
Switch. And so we were just talking about LLDP, like, where's that at? So you can do searches on LLDP and things like that. So that's pretty nice. So the interface, the switch's interface there's been a lot of updates around that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and, like, the client address, MAC address tables, which I think Cisco calls it the CAM table. That's, like, every device that the switch is basically discovered on the network, and then it has the ARP table where there's, active communications going on between the switch and the device. Those are both in there.
Yeah, the key thing with the ARP table that we were talking about is it's the communication between the switch and the other device, right? Right. So if the switch pinged a device that's flowing through the switch,
right,
it's direct communication with because like you were saying before, or we were discussing, the ARP table, every device has an ARP table, and it's storing what it's communicating with within the switch ARP table.
Yes. Yeah. So two separate things, but it's got a lot of tools like that in there. So they're pretty good. I mean, we've seen a lot of times now we've used the switches to diagnose problems.
Cable test is another one. So
yeah.
The one that recently helped me, I've talked about this probably 3 times now, which I love, is the CRC errors.
Yeah.
On the ports, being able to see that.
Yeah.
That definitely will indicate, like, a bad cable, not even only fully plugged in. So it's
yeah. You could have a cable that's not fully plugged in or seated, and you don't know it, but you look in that and you're like, oh, why are there errors in that cable? There's something up with it, right?
Yeah, something's going on, so we need to, like, physically inspect.
And anyone can do. You don't have to have a tech do that. If someone's out on the site, you can just say, hey, go to the switch on this port and check the cable.
Yeah,
that's in there, right? So that's cool.
Yeah, one of the big things that, so you and we've been contacted multiple times about availability. I think that's a big thing to talk about. For specifically 24 port and 48 port switches. And we also have 8 port switches, but 24 and 48 port, now we have multiple variations of 24 and 48 port. But we have now multi-gig, like we were saying before, and we also have gigabit, and you have availability to that. So
yeah, you're getting more like boutique switches with the multi-gig, niche type switches that you use in some situations, right? But then we have the 1 gigabit, 24 and 48 full power switches that you want to use every day in your network. So they're all available. Just let me know. I'll send you a quote. So another thing I want to talk about is I've been testing Wi-Fi 6E. So on my laptop, I've got the Intel AX210 Wi-Fi 6E adapter in there. Now, I wasn't sure when I got it if I would need to change how the antennas in the laptop would work. So, this laptop had a Wi-Fi 6 card in it when it came, and it was an AX201, I think. So it had the 2 antennas in their dual band antennas, but there's not much to them. They're just like a little strip of metal in there, but they are tuned to the frequencies, I guess. But of course, I wasn't sure if adding that third band would require new antennas or not. It doesn't seem like it does, because we've seen multiple guys now using the built-in antennas and just switching the card.
Yeah.
So I was able to.
That was pretty simple, would you say, or?
Yeah, it's a simple upgrade. If your laptop has an M.2 Wi-Fi card in there, it's a simple upgrade. You just gotta snap those connectors on. It has 2 UFL connectors, which are they called high rows. They're like really tiny connectors. You just snap them on there. There's a primary, secondary. So there's only 2. It's 2x2 card in there. So each antenna connector has to support all 3 bands now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all the radio chains are going through for the 3 bands are going through those two antenna connectors.
I have a really dumb question. Like, I remember having PCMCIA cards, right? We had that 200 milliwatt 11B1.
Yeah.
There's 2 connectors on there. There's a primary and secondary.
Yeah.
And I remember customers used to plug in the wrong. They would want to use one, and it had 2 antenna connectors, so they would want to use 1 connector. They would always plug in 1 antenna, but on the wrong port.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be on the primary. So the primary did transmit and receiving. The secondary port did receiving only.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
No, it's not. It's not the case anymore. They're both doing transmit and receive. So that was, I'm trying to think what that was called. That was there's a term for it. But it was a certain type of MIMO that it's transmitting, it's receive diversity. That's what it was called.
Oh,
the second one.
That, yep.
Yeah. So the second one is receive diversity. No, these are transmitting, receiving on both antenna connectors. But the short of it is, you probably don't have to replace those antennas in your laptop. You just have to snap on the connectors if you're going from a Wi-Fi 6 to and upgrading to 6E, right? And so we've gotten in the ECW336 AP, the ingenious Wi-Fi 6E access point.
Let me clarify.
Yeah.
We only sent 1 out so far. There's more that we're sending out. So
okay.
Any of the other beta testers out there, if you're listening, we will send those out to you. There's some fine tuning that we're doing.
So yeah, this is pretty exciting for me now. So that we finally have Wi-Fi 6E access points to test on. So I want to put up a screenshot of what it looks like in Windows. So when you connect, you can see that that you're connected at 6 gigahertz by clicking on there's a little eye on the Wi-Fi connecting area. On the SSID you're connected to, click on the eye, and then this screen comes up, and it basically tells you, you're connected on the 6 gigahertz band, and connecting at 2.4 gigabits, and so you'll see that right away.
Yeah, Yeah, and if you like you were saying, if you just click on those on a Windows machine, right? You just click on the Wi-Fi signal. It brings up what SSID you're connected to. You just go to the properties of that, and you scroll down. It's all there.
And the way we're testing is I'm setting up an SSID that's just on 6 gigahertz, so that the laptop will only see that. So it's not. Otherwise, you can set up an SSID to have 2.45 and 6, but then you're never sure what the laptop's gonna connect to, right? It's gonna probably connect to 2.4 first, maybe.
Yeah. And the other thing to really consider too is that you will be onboarding on 5 gigahertz and then transitioned over to 6 gigahertz.
Yeah, if 5 gigahertz is enabled, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll always bring you in on 5 gigahertz, and then transition you to 6. Now, I've done some range testing a little bit. I haven't done too much yet, but the range seems pretty good on the 6 gigahertz. Better than I thought it would be.
More than what that's what I would say too. You're thinking 6 gigahertz, it's not going to travel really far. It's probably within the room or something
That's
like that.
what I was thinking originally. Yeah, it's not the case. No. It seems to travel just as far as 5 gigahertz.
It appears to be that way. That's how it, there's no science behind it.
Right, it's just like a feel at this point, because we haven't done like range testing and speed at range versus 5 gigahertz, but it seems like so far it seems like it's going to be the same. I don't think it's going to be more, but maybe just a little less or the same, something like that.
We did a little bit of range testing. So outdoors, with the 4x4 internal antennas on the AP, 90 feet. We did a test there.
Okay.
We had good results. We also tested in our lab. I shouldn't say lab because it's not this clean environment.
Yeah.
It's not sound. It's not free of like interference.
Yeah, you're not in like an RF cage or something. Yeah.
We do all our testing.
Yeah.
Right. So we tested in our FAE lab to our conference room, which is 1, 2, 3 walls away from one another, and the testing was really, really good. So
yeah, I'll put up the iPerf. Like, this is the close range, I think. That
no, the one you're looking at, I think, is the 90 foot.
Oh, is it at 1.63 gigabits per second?
90 feet clear line. That was
clear line of sight. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, these numbers, I haven't been able to verify these yet. I just got the AP, but yeah, these numbers look really good for what we're seeing here. My client adapter's connecting at 2.4 gigabits per second pretty consistently. So at 90 feet, that's crazy that you're getting that kind of performance still.
Yeah. You should. I mean, it's open band.
Yeah. Well, right. There's no interference in that band, and so that's something we haven't seen in a long time, right?
Yeah.
And even like channel selection, it's not even important really, because
22 years we haven't seen it in 22 years.
Right. So yeah, that we'll get some more numbers on these. I'll do a write up once I thoroughly test this access point out, but so far it looks pretty promising. And when they're gonna be shipping in a month or so.
Of June.
Yeah, gotcha. So
there's some cloud interface stuff that we're fine tuning.
Yeah. They're still beta.
Get that done before we send it to like some of the other beta testers and stuff. So we want to get that completed. So
and there's not a lot of client devices for 6E yet, so a lot of people aren't going to have it in their laptop without upgrading.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have the Samsung, the S21, 22.
Yeah, it's a 21. S21 I think has it. Yeah, there's some Android smartphones that have it. But like we said before, if the new iPhone has Wi-Fi 6E, we'll see it like explode immediately.
Well, we're going to see that in September. Right?
Yeah, we'll see. It's not right. We won't know until September. Apple's always conservative, but I still think that they may put it in this iPhone 14. Well,
yeah, because we thought they were going to put it in the.
Yeah, we thought it'd be in the previous one because the Android already had it by then. So if they do put it in the iPhone 14 or whatever they're going to call it, then the adoption should be very fast for 6E.
Yeah. It'll speed up the process.
For sure, because we saw that with Wi-Fi 6. So, all right, anything else you want to talk about today?
Well, no, I would just bring up really quick the upgrade. So the upgrade to your laptop was fairly simple. How much was the cost of the
the
card?
It's very inexpensive. I mean, less than $50. And I've ordered multiple ones now because, like, the first there's a couple of variations, but the one that you probably want is the AX210. That's
what's in my laptop.
That's the one that everyone's using. The AX210. Now, when I ordered mine, you could not get it with the antennas. Now I see some vendors, so I use the antennas that were in the laptop, and they seem to be working fine. Now I see a couple of vendors listing the card with antennas, so I ordered one of those. So I'm going to get those antennas. I'm going to see if there's any difference with those.
That would be a good test.
Yeah. So we'll see if there's any difference with those. But yeah, the card's under $50 now for a laptop. It's an M.2 card, and there's also, some desktop motherboards that have M.2 slots that you could put it in and then attach, like, there's like a header with the antennas that stick out of the case. So I may try to put it in a desktop too, and then I'll do a write-up on that if anyone wants to put a 6E card in a desktop with the second one that I'm getting. But yeah, it's not.
That'd be interesting to see, like, what kind of results you see with the one that came with antennas versus the one that you just attached to your laptop.
Exactly. If there's any difference, I don't think there will be, and I'm gonna check the antennas, like, because I was like looking for specifically the tri-band antennas with UFL connectors for laptops, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So it looks like they're using standard dual band antennas still for all these. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. But it seems to be working just fine. Getting a fast connection, so I'll do a write-up as soon as I get more information. All right, anything else, Brian?
No, I think that covered everything.
All right, sounds good. All right, remember to like and subscribe. For more help with Wi-Fi, post questions in the comments, and we'll